What's happened, you bad motherfuckers? It's Wednesday, February 17th. The joint is brought to you by Relief Band. Do you know that a third of Americans regularly suffer from nausea? I don't usually have nausea, but when I had the surgery, you got to take the oxys, you got that synthetic heroin, and you got to puke. I started, it's the truth. It's synthetic heroin, so you get sick. I don't usually get nausea, but I get it after the surgery. Before I got the surgery, I got a box in the mail. I thought it was like one of my friends, Bob, sent me like a box for the surgery. It was Relief Band, the premier clinically proven. This is tremendous. This is why I'm excited about our new partner, Relief Band, because Relief Band is the #1 FDA-cleared anti-nausea wristband that has been clinically proven to relieve and prevent nausea and vomiting. How do I know? Because the one day I didn't wear it to PT, on the way back, I puked in the car. I got car sick. That's how I know this works. And I've kept it on every day since my surgery. This kind of thing is only available to hospital patients, but now it's available to everybody. That means you. This is how it works. Relief Band stimulates a nerve in the wrist that travels to the part of the brain that controls nausea. Then it blocks the signal your brain is sending to your stomach by telling you that you're sick. Science! Relief Band is the only over-the-counter wearable band that has been used in hospitals and oncology clinics to treat nausea and vomiting. Like I told you in the beginning, man, I saw recuperation, so I put it on. I didn't really suffer from nausea, but when you start taking those pills, 13 prescriptions, you're gonna get something, you know what I'm saying? Thank God for Relief Band. So do yourself a favor. Ensure nausea is never the reason you miss out on one of life's important moments. Right now, Relief Band has an exclusive offer just for Uncle Joey's Joint listeners. If you go to reliefband.com, that's reliefband.com, and use promo code Joey, you'll receive 20% off plus free shipping and no questions asked, 30-day money-back guarantee. When a company does that, they're telling me that they believe in their product that much. So if I was you and I suffer from nausea, throw me that box, Mike, if you don't mind. Nausea, airplane sickness, seasickness, car sickness, pregnancy, chemotherapy, hangovers, anxiety, physician-diagnosed migraines, Relief Band is the way to go. So if you go to Relief Band right now, use promo code Joey, you receive 20% off plus free shipping. So head over to Relief Band, ReliefBand.com. Use promo code Joey and get 20% off and get some relief. No more nausea. #2, the joint is brought to you by ONNIT. My brothers, my people, I love these. I love this product. You got the protein puffs. You got the Shroom Tech. You got the Alpha Brain. If you don't like pills, Alpha Brain comes in a powder now. You put it in a shaker, you shake it up. Same results. New Mood, Shroom Tech, Alpha Brain, Immune, and whatever you need, they got you. It starts by you just going to onnit.com. That's it. Go to onnit.com and look through the supplements. I can't help you with the kettlebells or anything, but as far as supplements are concerned, I got you. Press in Church or Joey and get 10% off delivered right to your house, no drama. The protein puffs are delicious. You got the Korean barbecue, you got the spicy cheddar, just tremendous. Shroom Tech, every product they have, the melatonin spray, now it's known to, they say it helps against COVID, the melatonin spray. It's flying off the shelves. I use it for sleep, so I'm way ahead of the game. Go to onnit.com right now. Press in Church and get 10% off and get a box delivered right to your house. onnit.com/church. Let's get this party started, all right? It's Wednesday the 17th. The candles are lit, bitches. Hey, look who it is. What's happening?
Check 1, 2. Welcome to Uncle Joey's joint.
What's happening, you bad motherfuckers? Uncle Joey here. Uncle Joey's Joint. Wednesday, February 17th. How you motherfuckers doing? I hope everybody's doing all right out there. Before we get started, my friend didn't make it today. The fucking snot I had hanging out of my nose. When I finished the podcast, I went in the bathroom and I saw a snot. I saw something hanging out of my nose. I fucking pulled that motherfucker out. It was all the way to here and it just went bang. It was this long. I ate that motherfucker. I chewed on that motherfucker like a piece of gum for 30 minutes. Mike didn't even know. He's like, why isn't he sharing that joint with me? That's why. Because I was chewing on that fucking booger. I love a good booger like that. Is tremendous. But that's the reason why you need to weed whack your nose. A shout out to Manscaped. If you fucking weed out your nose, snots won't get cut there. My buddy called me at like 9:30 in the morning. He's like, dog, you got a snot in your nose in the podcast. I'm like, what are you fucking talking about? I look at the podcast. I'm like, look at the size of that thing. I go, does it look like a Coke Rock to you? That was my biggest fear. I go, it's a snot.
The camera and the microphone, I couldn't see.
It was a snot. It's not a fucking Coke Rock. Because if not, I have the fucking DEA at my door today with everybody. He's doing Coke again. No, I'm not doing no Coke. I just had it was tremendous, Mike. It looked like an alien. It had like a little green head to it, and then like a slimy little body to it. It took me a minute to get that motherfucking position. You know, when you got to get that snot in position and just fucking like pull it out. And I was gonna throw it away, but when I looked at it, it was beautiful. It was nice and gooey. It had some white elements to it, like vitamin D. That'll cure fucking. Vitamin D is the fucking cure-all for COVID. I took that snot. I rubbed a little on my forehead just in case, and I fucking popped it in my mouth like a mint. I chewed on that piece of snot for 30 minutes. Call me a pig. I don't give a fuck. Put on your relief band. You know what I'm saying? If you're getting nauseated. Because fuck you motherfuckers. It's a snot. What do you want from me? It would if it was a Coke Rock, then we got a fucking problem. Then we gotta go. You know, you gotta talk to Joey, pull him aside. But thank God, 13 years, no cocaine. You can't get me to do a fucking line of coke. I'm petrified. Anyway, this I can't. I'm petrified with these fucking pills. I'm petrified with everything. You know why they don't prescribe a lot of pills to you anymore, like 90s? Because people OD. So when they prescribe me my oxys, they prescribe them 21, and they want you to take one every 8 hours, but they're not considering PT. And when you go to PT and they fucking straighten you up, so you need one after PT, so that's 4 a day. So you always come up short. Mm-hmm. So you have to beg them, like call them and beg them. And so what I started doing was not taking the daytime one.
Yeah, save it for later. Just
save it for later, because if not, I could live off it's the nighttime shin pain that was really killing me. I could live off, I had pain before the surgery. Why do you think I had fucking surgery? So the Aleve and shit, but this pain, you need heavy duty. But that's why, and if you take them at night, you can't fucking sleep.
Really?
Yeah, fucks with my sleep. I can't fucking sleep. So it's this whole pain drug thing is a fucking nightmare. Here's the funny thing. They talk about this opioid fucking, everybody's on opioids. I got to tell you something. I know a lot of people. On Sunday, all I needed was one pill. One pill. I just needed a pill to take me through Sunday after the...
Take the edge off.
Yeah, take the edge off. And I didn't have it. I did everything. Ice baths. I had my wife freeze cups and fucking rub my legs with the thing. I finally took that bottle of Smoky Mountain. Remember that edible we showed the Friendly Farm? Mm-hmm. I took half the bottle and I put it in a tea. And I fucking drank it, and that was it. Night Irene, dog. Night Irene. I couldn't do it. And reefer helps with the pain. CBD line is tremendous with the pain. But there's a point of this leg. Not anymore. I think I've gone over the hump. Yeah, I think I got over the hump. But today I want to talk about something that nobody ever talks about. I definitely did it the wrong way. And this idea sparked in my head about a week and a half ago. And today's my dear friend Ralphie May's birthday. He would have been, I don't know how old it would have been. It doesn't make a difference. He's dead 4 years today. So I don't know how long this podcast is going to last, just because I've had problems with this for the last couple of days. I'm going to get it together and talk to you about this. And I'm fine now. Anyway, what happened was this. We've lost, I don't know how many numbers to COVID. I can't even start to count or the calculations. I don't know if it's real or not. I know one thing is real. Death is real. Whether you died of a bullet wound or you died of COVID, they put COVID on your thing. It doesn't really matter. This is not what this podcast is about today. This podcast is about learning how to deal with a loss, with mourning. I think right now, listen, I could bring you over my house and show you my emails, my Facebook and my Patreon. And I will make this bet. I will make this bet with you guys that I will bet $50 that every day the last 6 months, except for maybe 3 days, I have gotten a fucking email from somebody telling me that either they lost a grandmother, a father, a mother to cancer, or not cancer, I'm so sorry, COVID, every fucking day since, let's just play it since April. I could guarantee you, I could bet you, I'll bet 10 of yous, $50, that if you go through my Patreon, you're going to find a death every day except maybe 3 or 4 days. If you don't think this takes a toll on a guy like me, you're wrong. I know where you're coming from. When you send me that email, I know exactly where the fuck you're coming from, because I was that person. I hope you guys never forget that. And I was 16. What's this show? Alone and Naked in an Island?
Naked in
Yeah, fuck that. I was alone in 16 when I found that woman on the fucking floor, okay? And just that alone is enough to traumatize anybody. It's the reason why I stopped doing blow, because I didn't want this great woman that I have as a wife to find my fat fucking ass, 400-pound ass on the floor. She would have never recovered from it. How do I know? Because I know what it takes to recover from that. Half of you's found your parents. Half of you's got a chance to say goodbye. My dear friend, I talk him off a fucking rope once a month because his mom died in Florida and they had to say goodbye on FaceTime. I know I make a lot of jokes and stuff, but that's my way of dealing with fucking mourning. You don't deal with mourning by fucking going to somebody's house crying. You deal with mourning by walking into somebody's house with a face of a man, and you're controlled, because if you're controlled, then that'll control them. Eventually you'll break down like I did here, but it's mourning. It takes time. And if you don't do it right, you will end up like I did, in a 27-year addiction or a bad relationship, because you didn't deal with the death. How do I know this? Let's go to what started this whole thing. About a week ago, maybe 10 days ago, I was on the phone with my dear friend Steve Avillo. He's been on the podcast before. And we were talking. And he was, I hope he doesn't get mad at me for repeating this online. He said that he was stressed when his wife was pregnant, because what if he died and left his wife and kid the way his dad had passed? And he said that he never dealt with it. And I had to stop him right there. I go, Avils, your dad died a year before my mom. Your dad died in 78. My mom died in 79. I go, what did you expect us to do? We did what we knew how to do. was going back to being a kid. Do you understand me? We went back to being a kid. Like, I buried my wife, my wife, God forbid. I buried my mom and went to the playground. Like, I went to like a little thing. We ate cold cuts or whatever. And right from there, you know, you resume life. You know, when you're 30 and when you're 40 and somebody dies, you feel more of an impact. But when you're young, you go back to your activities. You were going to suck Susie's titties at the prom Thursday night. You know, I'm going back to sucking on Susie's titties Thursday night, you know. And what do? So we sweep that thing under the carpet, and what happens is you deal with people all day long, right? You deal with people all day long, and when does that thought creep up on you? At night. At night when you're alone, and it's just you and your thoughts. Oh my God, that's when you remind, I swear to God, for me, that's how it was. I dove myself into my friends so much that, you know, 8 in the morning, on a bus, going to school, high school. I had a job, Rendell Lumber. After Rendell Lumber, I was home very lightly. A shower, eat, gone again, because I didn't want my mind to settle, because if I settled, I would think of my mom's death, and I'd make me want to kill myself. I didn't know how to deal with it. You want me to tell you when it came back to bite me in the ass? And now you understand my story a little better. It came back to bite me in the ass 5 years later in 1984. Remember when I told you I ended up homeless? Why do you think I ended up homeless? Well, that year is where that emotion came out. You know, all through those years, I was Johnny Rocco. I was with my buddies, Stinky, Fernie, Pelly. We're out every night. We're doing this, we're doing that. You're getting your dick sucked. I'm on Colorado with Jimmy Burkle. I'm having a great time. Finally, something was wrong with me in 84. It was like, I didn't know what it was. And, you know, the pain was dying to come out. The pain, it was in there, but I kept tucking it in, tucking it in, tucking it in, tucking it in. The pain was there, but something wasn't right. I went to visit my uncle. He brought up some memories, and guys, after that, I fucking spun out of control. Any drug, every pill, you know, whatever I needed to take to kill that pain. It was, and I didn't know what it was. I was 20 fucking years old. I didn't know what pain, I had no idea that pain, once you set that pain loose inside your body, what do you think fucking happens? You don't care. So I didn't care. And when I finally realized that I've told you stories about my mother. I saw them put her in the ground, and I would still go to my house at night just to see if it was a mistake. I would still go to my house at night to see if her light was on. That's how fucked up I was. And right now, all of you, I'm not saying all of you that listen to the podcast, but most of you know people or maybe have a relative that has passed, and you're going through this exact thing right now. You're throwing everything at it so you don't realize what's going on, that you're in pain. Eventually, you're going to have to pay the piper. You could either pay me now or pay me later. Well, my payment started in 1984, and it didn't end until 2007. And I threw more pain on top of it. I threw the pain of my divorce. I threw the pain of not seeing my kid. You know, anytime pain stuck, it would lift all those feelings up. It would lift all those emotions up. And what happens when you lift all those emotions up? What's the only thing that could take care of that? Forget that. It was more like, you know, that's what happens. That's what happens. You got to keep that pain low. So I did it completely the wrong way. And even today, between Ralphie and Brody, I won't accept it. I just won't accept it. I have not taken Brody's number out of here, okay? Not because I'm a scumbag. I just haven't. I can't. You know, people kept thinking, oh, look, Ralphie, right there. Ralphie, right there. You know, it's not, I'm not ready yet. And today, him being his birthday, I'm happy that this fell on, what's it say there? Brody. I'm not lying to you motherfuckers. I'm the biggest pussy when it comes to mourning because I don't want to deal with it because it brings up Anthony Balzano. It brings up Denora Valdez. It brings up Dominic Special. It brings up anybody else who's died. You understand me? So that's why I don't like dealing with it. But now he's been dead for 4 years. It's time for me to sit down and write about Ralphie and what he meant to me and what he wanted from me. And I knew that I know for a fact, if that couch was a fucking hospital bed and I walked in there, I know what Ralphie would say to me and what he'd want me to do with the rest of my life. And I did that. I did that. I used to go train on Thursdays. I used to train on Mondays and Thursdays before I left LA. And every Thursday was in Burbank. Monday was in, she took me Monday to Studio City, and Thursday was in Burbank. You don't know how many times I sat Ralphie down. I go, Ralphie, let's do it this way. Let's go on the road Thursday and do 4 shows and come back Sunday. I'll open for you. You don't have to pay me anything. I don't give a fuck. I just want to help you get in shape. Let's work out before you get on the fucking plane. And then, you know, so every Thursday I would work out at 12. I swear to God, every time I would make the fucking, I do this as the blinker. You know, I'm retarded. I use my blinkers. When I do this to pop the blinker and I would make it right, I would always look and go, Ralphie, this is what you should have been doing on a Thursday morning. Was going to a workout. We go home now, we eat, and we head to the airport, and we catch a 5 o'clock plane out to whatever fucking city we're going to. We have a late night dinner. And Friday morning, we go do the 2 shows at a fucking theater. And we're home Sunday. We could eat dinner with our families. And Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we could work out and be healthy. So I know what I proposed to him. And I know if he was in a hospital bed dying, what he would tell me. And I wrote it out, and I fucking lived that life, you know. You guys have seen that I've lost weight throughout the last couple of years, especially after Ralphie's death, because I put his name on my lifestyle. It's not a diet. It's a lifestyle. Everything changes, you know what I'm saying? So I wanted to talk to you people about mourning and what does it mean. It's like when I came here and I wasn't prepared. If you look at the podcast in October and some in November, Joey wasn't with you. It was some other person. It was because I was mourning. I was mourning the death of my life in LA, the house, my friends, you know, Dean Del Rey, Steve Simone, Lee, Rogan, Red Band. I was missing them. The Comedy Store. I had to come to terms with all those things. So think about all the things I had to mourn the last fucking 9 fucking months, 8 months. I've been here 6 months on Friday. So all these things. But this time I did it right because I wrote about it. When my mother died, I did with Gots. I just, you know, this was my fucking, you know, that's what I did to take care of the mourning. When somebody dies and you leave that cemetery, like when my sister-in-law died, and I drove to Delaware and I went to the wake. I love my sister-in-law. And you want me to tell you something? My sister-in-law loved me. She fucking backed my comedy career. She financed, she was another one of those people that I was in a bind and I contacted her and she sent me money without even blinking an eye. You know, it was between this and not doing the gig, you're doing that fucking gig. Go do your gig. Here's $20 for gas, whatever you need, a suit. Listen, you know, what I did when I went, I was supposed to do a guest set that night for Tim Dillon. And I drove up to North Brunswick, and as I was pulling up, my sister called, and she goes, have you spoken to Mike? And I go, yeah, this afternoon, family reunion. And she goes, no, everything changed. His wife died. And I remember I said, I got to call you back. I tried calling Mike. He didn't answer. I drove back. It's just like a 20-minute ride. And I drove back. And I remember I told my wife that my sister-in-law died. And I didn't cry. I wasn't like, I'm not one of those people. It takes time with me. It takes time with me. And, I played with the baby, whatever, and then we went to bed. And then that night, I went in my notebook, and I wrote about Sherry. Her name was Sherry. And I wrote about Sherry, how I had met her, how we came to fall in love. She was my sister-in-law, but I loved her as much as my brother. She had my back. When she had her third daughter, Alexa, I spent the last 4 months of her pregnancy with her. Every night I was her personal butler. I was broke. I was a mooch, and I was living off her. And every night I would Mike, my brother, would go out to shoot darts and shit. He's a nut. And he'd go, stay home with my wife. And me and her, I would smoke pot and blow the smoke in her face, because she couldn't smoke pot, so she just wanted me to blow the smoke at her. And she fucking would give me money to go get Chinese food. And we watched Goodfellas every fucking night. Every fucking night. And if I did comedy, I'd come home early and we'd do the same shit over and over again. Chinese food, Goodfellas, and she'd make me blow pot smoke at her. But she always pushed for my comedy. And she told me something once about one of my jokes, and I stopped doing the joke. But when my sister-in-law died, I just came downstairs and I wrote about it. And I wrote about our relationship, how we became friends, what she had done for me, what I had done for her, and what she would have told me in that casket. As creepy as this sounds, when a person is in a casket and you're looking at them in a wake, you're thinking about your times with them. Like with her, they had like a screen, like a LED screen, and they had like pictures of the family, and they showed a picture of us at the Borgata by a slot machine, and my fucking heart stopped. And it was me and her. I had a relationship with my brother, and I had my relationship with my sister-in-law, and I loved her to death. So I came up with the conclusion the same way I mourned my mother, how I came up with my mother, how I came up with Dominic and Anthony, and I do this with everybody. Marilyn, when Marilyn Martinez died in 2007, I stopped snorting coke maybe a week after that, And in September, Marilyn died November 3rd or November 1st or something, Rick Ramos' birthday, but in September, she had something in her house. They were like a little party, a get-together. You could tell she had a couple days left. She wasn't going to live. And then we were having a conversation, and she was telling me that if she ever lived, she wouldn't do dirty comedy anymore. And in the conversation, she looked at me, and she goes, and Joey, you have to stop doing cocaine. And I took it like as a message from God. Like, me, dog, I look for messages. I was like, why would me and Marilyn be having a conversation about comedy? And all of a sudden, she just comes out and says, I have to stop doing cocaine. Well, I'll tell you guys, a week later, I stopped doing cocaine. And here we are 13 fucking years later. So what I decided to do was, every time somebody dies that's close to me, I think of what they wanted for me, okay? What did they want for that person? I want the best for Mike. I want Mike to grow up and be a man. He is a man. He's got 2 kids. He's supporting them. He's keeping a roof over his house. He's not a convicted felon. He's a gentleman. He brought my wife and daughter Valentine's Day presents. I mean, the kid's a great kid. He's living the life that I would want him to live. He doesn't snort glue. He's on time. You think of that person and you go, what would that person would have wanted me to, what extraordinary thing would that person want from me? I stopped snorting coke. The pain must have gone away. My daughter, the pain must have gone away. Whatever, all these things, the pain just doesn't go away. You have to cut a deal with that pain and stick by that fucking deal. In my mother's case, I had a girlfriend. I was living with her for 4 or 5 years. I wasn't giving her 100% of Joe Diaz. I was giving her 50% of Joe Diaz because Joe Diaz's soul belonged to comedy. And I said, that's it, this has to stop. I have to give this girl 100% of Joey Diaz, or we're not going to have a relationship. I also have to live the life that my mother wanted me to be. All my mother wanted out of me, she didn't want me to be a lawyer. I mean, listen, my mother wanted me to go to the Army, to go to college, and then go fight in a war. She wanted me to actually shoot people for this country. That's how much she loved America. But the thing she said to me 10 days before she died one night is, I just want you to grow up and be a man. And what does a man mean? That you go out fucking everything, or you get your dick sucked every night? No, that you adhere to your responsibilities as a man. Before the podcast started, Mikey was here. I got a call from my agent, who I love dearly, and I told him about something. I'm making a move. You know, I had to make another move in a different direction. And he was really cool with it. And I told Mike, this is how we do it. We have to deal with people like this, because if you don't, then you got nothing. You have to be straight with people. That's what a man does. You have to pay your debts. That's what a man does. You have to fucking open up a door. You know, you have to do what a man does. So for me to make my mom's death easier, and dog, I did not figure this out at 20. That's why I had a rough 20. Why did I have a rough 30? Because I didn't figure this out. I didn't figure this out till I was 43 years old. And then I quit coke at 44. I wanted to grow up to be the man my mother wanted me to be. I stopped doing coke, and I became the man my mother wanted me to be. I own a home. I have a daughter. I have a wife. I have a great relationship with my wife. You know, my wife calls me Spider, right, from Goodfellas. You know that, right? My wife thinks I'm an idiot, so she calls me Spider, right? So people don't know, that's my other nickname, is Spider from Goodfellas. Yeah, please, we have a great relationship. I am very lucky. I treat her like a man. You know, she's going away this weekend with my daughter. They're going skiing and shit. I can't, obviously, what am I going to ski with one leg? You know, she was upset. Like, she came to me and she's like, I don't want to go because it's your birthday. We're going to have a great weekend. I'm like, fuck you. I'm 58 years old. I've had my share of fucking birthdays. My birthday's Friday. We'll get a Carvel cake. We'll go to Uncle Vinny's. Not them. I'll come back. I'll hang out with you guys, and then you guys could leave Saturday morning. She goes, yeah, well, that's when we were going to leave anyway. I go, so then what's the big deal? Why do you feel guilty about leaving Saturday? And she goes, well, I wanted it to be a whole weekend. I was going to make you a pineapple upside down cake. And I'm like, do I need a pineapple upside down cake? We're just going to make a Carvel cake on Friday. We have a tradition at the house. We eat a Carvel cake. Why would I want to, so I said, go. And she was like, are you serious? And I'm like, go. That's what a man does. It's not about me. It's about that little girl. Why'd we move here? You think we moved here for me to be on Broadway tap dancing with Fred Astaire? No. We moved here so my little girl could be a normal little fucking girl. So Friday, Saturday, I think 4 moms and 1 dad. Only 1 dad is going. 1 dad is going with like fucking 12 kids, and they're renting some fucking thing. Yeah, no, they got. I think my wife got a suite for her and one of the other moms.
Yeah, that's nice.
But yeah, that's what a man does. I'm living a family. I have a family now. I have a life. You know, okay, yeah, I don't do comedy every night no more, but now I'm enjoying this part of it. So when somebody passes, your easiest path to mourning, and I fucking hate myself for this, is write out. This is everything. I know it's getting old, but this is everything. And it's just 3 or 4 sentences. And I swear to God, the pain goes away. When I first did it, the pain went right away. Just acknowledging that I did it. I remember going into that living room. We lived in a 1-bedroom room. And I remember sitting on the couch going, I just lost. Oh wait, and then you write letters to them. Then I wrote a letter to my mother. So it's like a three process thing. You say a prayer, you write out the person, whatever, your aunt. You ever have one of those aunts that you go to their house, they always give you $3, and they always say, oh, I can't wait to see you in a play or whatever. You don't want to do a play. You know what? Go to a local theater group and do one play, just in the name of your aunt. One play. And once the play is over, don't do it again. I'm just using a play as an example. I forgot today's Ash Wednesday. Anyway, fuck! I gotta go get my ashes later on. In fact, we'll do it here. I'll do my own Ash Wednesday. I gotta find out what I'm gonna give up for Lent this year. I always give up something. I gotta give up something for Lent. But no, that's everybody's mourning right now, man. And my heart goes out to you and your families. And you can make this hard, or you can make this real easy. Alcohol does help. I'm not going to lie to you, But it's just a fucking Band-Aid, and it'll haunt you for fucking ever. It'll haunt you. The way the Brody and whatever haunt me. I didn't go to Brody's send-off. I don't do those things because I don't do well in those. I want to deal with it internally because that's the only way to deal with it. But you saw it. I still have it. I'm a loser. But I've already written out. Like I wrote out what Brody wanted out of me. I know what Brody would tell me on his fucking deathbed. That doesn't take, be positive, the whole fucking thing, I'm sorry, but guys, this is the only way I can deal with this shit. So for him, I try to keep it more positive, for Brody every day. When I wake up, I have a little picture of him. I look at him and I go, I got to be positive, think strong, Yes. I know he'd want me to be a great comic. I know that he would smack me in the face if I told him I was retiring. Yeah, he would hit me in the face. Get the fuck out of here. With Ralphie, I knew what he was going to tell me because Ralphie loved when I killed. Ralphie loved it. Ralphie and Joe Rogan loved when I go up there and would not just go off, but go off. Like Ralphie and Joe Rogan didn't want me to have a good set. They wanted me to go off. They want to see people walk. They want to see people fainting. And they want to see women crying. That's what they want out of you. And if that's what they wanted, that's what I went for. With Ralphie would tell me, player, when you go up there and do that shit, if you want it, you got it, I mean, you got to remember, guys, that Ralphie and I were unique. People always when you're on Rogan, it's always so good. When Ralphie's on your show, listen, friendship, there's no reason why Two Bears in a Cave is so good. They're great friends. They've known each other for years. They live and they breathe for one another. When you have two people who breathe for one another doing a podcast and they're both funny, you got yourself a fucking problem. When I would do a podcast with Ralphie, we would fucking die laughing before, during, and after the fucking podcast. Whether it was the one with Bert Kreischer when he fell through his dollhouse and shit. Or it was,
Tell the leader, just look at the yellow.
Look at the yellow and all that shit. I mean, we laughed our ass off. The stronger the bond, the better your podcast you're going to get. Who are the best two podcasters I did podcasts with? Ralphie and Joe Rogan. The best. I listened to the one Ralphie one the other night when he went off on Russians in the beginning. Like, why are you going off on Russians? And he told me later on that night, because the guy that sold him a tire was Russian and he beat him. And, Ralphie always had his fucking things. But I talked to the Smash Brothers, Corey and Chad. I reached out to them last night and told them, tomorrow's the day. And I had verify what year he died. I don't even know when he died, 2017. So it's time for me to start doing some paperwork. It's time for me to eventually erase this fucking number. You know, one of my biggest guilts from LA was that I was leaving Ralphie's spirit there. I mean, he's buried in Arkansas. We got him the fucking tombstone. I'm all good. But some part of me still feels guilty that I didn't bring his spirit back with him. I don't even know if that's right. But Mike, you're probably right. He probably is right there, right there. I had some weed missing. That fat fuck probably stole it. You know, when you have, I think one of the best things about comedy isn't the traveling, isn't the money. Performing is one of the top things for me. But the top thing is the friendships that you make through comedy. Like, it's different than a regular friendship. And for him and I, it was, I can't tell you how much he helped me. I mean, I can't tell you how I like Mike. I love Mike. I know Mike lives in Jersey somewhere. I don't give a fuck where he lives. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't give a fuck where he lives. I know he's in Jersey. I know he's a Jersey guy, and I love him either way. Ralphie loved me so much. He's like, player, I'm coming to that North Bergen. I'm like, sure you are. He's like, I'm coming to North Bergen. I'm going to wait till you're there, and I'm going to come and get you. Probably 19. I met Ralphie maybe 97. And by 99, Ralphie came to North Bergen. I was in North Bergen, and Ralphie came to Jersey. This is way before Ralphie blew up. Okay, Ralphie, nobody knew who Ralphie was. Just the people in Houston, Texas. It was me and Ralphie living in that building with that fucking crew of people. God bless their soul. Gavin, Celine, rest in peace. Jody, Stacy. I mean, we had a great fucking building. My man Ricky Cruz kicking ass down in Miami. We had a great fucking crew. We were a family. And me and Ralphie sat there and we wrote so many fucking jokes together. There's a special of Ralphie's with a yellow leather jacket. Watch that. Listen to that special. And tell me that that's not him and me writing together. There's a couple of his specials. It was just me and him ginning, and I never made him fucking write it on there that I wrote. I don't give a fuck. He's my brother. The guy fed me when I fucking needed food. You know, he gave me money. When he became a superstar, he fucking supported me, that guy. When everybody else was giving me chocolates, he was giving me stacks of $100 bills. You know, when I got surgery with my one shoulder, I couldn't work 1 month. He came right over and gave me cash. This wasn't about that stuff. I've never even repeated this about the specials. It was just me and him, like, just talking and writing shit, and he would say, let me take that, take it. I don't give a fuck. What am I, a fucking, what do I give a Seinfeld? I don't give a fuck. Take it. I don't give a fuck. But one of the best stories I remember about me and Ralphie, if there's one story that I love about me and Ralphie, was, I'll tell you this, I'll make it quick. There used to be a club called Spellbinders in Houston, Texas. In the late 90s, mid-90s, whenever Ralphie got into comedy, you had the comedy that the one family owned outside. There was 3 comedy clubs. There was the Lab Stop, the Lab Spot, there was Spellbinders, and then there was Danny Martinez's room. There was 4 rooms. Ralphie cut his teeth on Danny Martinez's room. Everybody else called him fat and shit. Danny was his mentor. You know, Danny was also very good to me. I think Danny's gone now, rest in peace. But Ralphie would go to Spellbinders from time to time. This is a true story. I guess he went to the owner of the Danny one day, and he's like, hey, I'm going to go to Spellbinders, and Danny's feelings got hurt. You know, club owners usually do. They get hurt. They're like, you know, you fucking, but you can't get hurt. It's just a business.
Ralphie went over to Spellbind. This 20 minutes into his set, he fell through the stage. You can't fucking write this, okay? You can't fucking write this at all. So I never knew about it. You know, after we became friends, like after like maybe 3 months, somebody said to him in front of me, and he turned fucking pale. He was embarrassed because he knew I wouldn't let it go, okay? He knew I wasn't going to let it go. So, you know, the lady who booked the place, her name was either Lynn Carnes or Kim Carnes. Who's the singer? Kim Carnes or something like that? Lynn Kim. Anyway, it doesn't really. I think her name was Lynn Carnes. I think. Don't fact check me on this. This is 30 years of reefer, you know. 40. More like fucking 45 years. So he went through the stage and then he sued him, which made it worse. So he wasn't allowed to play the club. So I didn't know. I go to Houston, you know, with Rogan, and I go, let me call Spellbinders and see if I can do like a guest spot. Maybe I could work in there. You know, the Last Stop was a great club. I was working there as a feature, but if I could come down here and put a couple feature weeks together, I could stay in Houston. You know, you got Beaumont, you got New Orleans, you got all that shit down there, you know? So I called the lady from Spellbinders, and I'm like, hi, my name is Joey Diaz. I'd like to do a guest spot. And she's like, you can't this weekend, but next time you're in town, you're more than welcome to stop by. And that process is when I found out about Ralphie May. So I you know, somebody said something to him. I was doing something. He didn't think I heard it, but I heard it. So again, I didn't tell him. It was like when Lee got the hand job in Vegas from the Chinese fucking hand job place, and Larry told me right away. I didn't tell Lee right away. I gave Lee like 6 weeks. The same thing I did to Ralphie. I didn't tell Ralphie. I knew that he fell through the stage right away. I gave him like 6 weeks, you know. And one day we're talking about comedy clubs, and I'm like, tell me about Spellbinders. And he just looked at me like, what do you know? And I'm like, did you really fall down this stage of Spellbinders? He's like, Jesus fucking Christ. People start rumors. There was a little hole, and it wasn't just me. It was a hole that kept cracking, and then Ralphie, you went through the fucking stage. So he's like, yeah, it was a long time ago, and blah, blah, blah. But then he sued her. That's how he bought the Forerunner and all that shit. So, you know, Kim Carnes or Lynn Carnes didn't want to hear a word of Ralphie May, like nothing. So that's it. You know what? I don't need to work Spellbinders. You know, I was gonna work the Lap Stop a lot more. He gave me a week with Bobby Slayton, so I would call her every day. I would get somebody to call her every day and go, hi, my name is Mike. I'd like to do a guest set. Ralphie May referred me. And you would hear the crack in her. I would call her in front of Ralphie. I would be with Ralphie, and he'd go, what are you doing? I'm calling Spellbinders, see if they give me a weekend. He'd go, put that fucking phone down. I go, no, watch. Hi, Lynn. My name is Pete Patello. Ralphie May referred me. Can you? And she'd just hang up on me. Because so many people were doing it to her. Like, referring them from Ralphie May, that she knew it was a fucking prank of some type. And that was the end of that, so.
Change the number.
Yeah, she had to change it. No, they closed down. In fact, they closed down, and then the Improv moved into Spellbinders. Now they moved out across the street into a bigger location. But it's been 4 years, brother, and I fucking miss you. I miss you. I miss you a lot, and I learned a lot from you. There's no two people that I learned more about this business than you and Joe Rogan. You both had two different styles, but you did it your way, like fucking Sinatra, and that's why I love you. Ralphie taught me things that he knew things about comedy I never even thought of knowing. Ralphie was a real comic. He knew little things that would make your fucking head blow up and he taught them all to me. He showed me his bag of tricks, and I got a bag of tricks, and that's what it is. It's just trickery. It's just like fucking being a magician. Ralphie had tricks, and he was that way ahead of the fucking game. He would tell me about those tricks, and that's why I'm the comic I am today. It was because of Ralphie May and Joe Rogan, man. But the Ralphie, you know, I got upset in the beginning of the podcast and whatnot. I've mourned him as much as I can in the way that I've written about him. Like, I didn't make the mistake I made with my mother and other people who passed. Like with Brody and Ralphie, I've done it right. I've written about him. I've gotten it out of my system. I'm still not at the point to get him out of my phone. That takes time. That's maybe one more year. Give me one more year. Maybe next year I'll take it out of my iPhone. But mourning is rough, guys. It's not something that happens overnight. You know, I once described it, if you watch the documentary, when you lose a loved one or you lose your mother. For me, this is the simplest way I could put it. It's like eating food with no salt on it the rest of your life. I still got a life. I'm very happy. I have a daughter. I have a wife. I have great friends. I have a dear community. But my mother's not in my world. And that's fucking rough. That's rough. She never got to see all this. I'm not crying. I'm not complaining. But it's rough. And I know a lot of you have gone through this without a mother, an aunt, an uncle, a grandfather. Grab the notebook. 2 things. What would they say to me on their deathbed? What would they want from me? What great quality would they want me to put out there of mine? Think about it. You know, with Ralphie, he always told me, "You're the best storyteller player. He would tell me not even to go on stage and tell jokes. He goes, "You're wasting your time. Just go up there and tell stories. Just go up there and tell stories." And I wouldn't listen to him. Ari fucking put that thing together. I listened to him. Watched those things. That's because of Ralphie. Ralphie and Ari. That's what it basically is. So all this shit that you see online, all this shit that you read that had nothing to do with me. My friends were solid. My comedy community was solid. Rogan, Josh Wolf, Ralphie May, you know, we were solid over there. Stanhope. There was a time when that was the neighborhood. Vista, these are streets I'm calling that go in a row, was Josh Wolf. Gardner was Ralphie May. Sierra Bonita was Nick DiPaolo and Mitch Hedberg, and Curson was Doug Stanhope. Those were 4 LA blocks next to each other. What education is better than that? To have those 4 as fucking neighbors. How lucky was I? And I did something that a lot of people don't do. I took advantage. I took advantage of that. I asked questions. I never stopped asking questions, even though, what's with the questions? You know what I mean? Comedy stuff, you know, like just talking, rapping. That was all we did, was talk comedy. There wasn't sports, it wasn't girls, it wasn't about blowjobs. All we did was the art of comedy. That was what those guys, I'll never forget one day Doug Stanhope called me up and he's like, "Yo, man, I don't know what's going on, but fucking, I came home and Ralphie was making out with my mother and I caught him and now he ran away. He sped off with his car." So I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And I get in my fucking car and I fly over to Doug Stanhope's, and there's Ralphie and Doug Stanhope's mom laughing at me. They were playing a prank on me. They said that Ralphie took off with Stanhope's mother. So Stanhope didn't know what to do. Stanhope fucked me in the ass. That's why Stanhope was trying to fuck with me. And he's like, "I don't know what to do." I caught Ralphie making out with my mother, and fucking when I confronted them, they both ran off. Ralphie was there with me when fucking Doug Stanhope's mother used to save cats that were all missing something, an ear, an eye, a leg. So one time we were all over there, and Mrs. Stanhope one of the cats died, and she put a towel down with a shrine with a cat, the dead cat, with the dead cat on the towel, and like candles, like a wake, and all the cats sat around looking at that cat, and me and Ralphie are like, look at those cats. They're probably looking at each other going, hey, I could use that ear. Nah, I could use that tail. Hey, I could use that fucking tooth. Because every one of her cats was missing something. An arm, a leg. So this is the shit. This is the, guys, when I go deep, this is why I can never have depression. I won't let myself go into depression. No matter how sad I get sometimes, no matter how much I beat myself up, no matter, because I'm fucking rough on myself, no matter how bad I'm feeling about something, when I think of these stories with Ralphie, I just think of Ralphie. And I'll laugh. Just the dollhouse cracks me up. Never mind the Doug Stanhope's mother. Never mind the fucking when he fell on Gardner. And I'm trying to pick him up and I couldn't. And I told him that I couldn't pick him up because the cops are going to come. They were going to think I was mugging him and he had to get up by himself. Because there we are in the middle of the street in front of the fire department. And I'm tugging on one arm. I can't pick him up. He's 500 fucking pounds, Whenever I get down, I'm on a plane, something's not going my way, I think about Ralphie. I think about Brody, I don't ever want to forget about Brody. I don't ever want to forget about Ralphie. I don't know when Brody's birthday is. I know Brody died around February, I think. I don't remember either. I think I was going, because I found out about Brody when I got on a plane. When I went to sit down, Steve Simone called me. That was a long fucking hour flight, and I had to perform that night. So I threw my performance out of respect for Brody Stevens that night. But back to the topic we were talking about, forget about Brody and forget about Ralphie. Rest their souls. I love yous both. Happy birthday in heaven, Ralphie. I know you people are going through a lot. And I know that you people either know someone or have lost a dear relative or whatever, and you're moving through life like nothing happened, and you think you're okay. That's okay, but something happened, and you have to address it at some point in your life. If not, it will come back to haunt you. I'm not talking about that aunt that lived in Connecticut that you hardly seen. I want you to have empathy for her, and I want you to pray for her and light a candle for her. Yeah. I'm talking about those people that are really special in your life, that when they go, you're left fucking lost. You're just left there lost. You don't know how the fuck to feel. I answer those messages every fucking day. Some kid hit me up yesterday. Again, very anonymous. I'm not here to talk about names. A guy on Patreon said he lost his mother last week. And he goes, now I want to thank you for every single word you've ever fucking said. And it just destroyed me. It destroyed me, because that's what I'm here for, guys. I'm not here to fucking make you laugh. I'm not here to fucking have a snot fucking out of my nose. I'm here so you guys can learn from me, from the mistakes I made. Don't do this shit. All the dumb shit I did growing up and stuff, it was fun while it lasted. But I want you guys to learn to do it the right way and not to put up with the shit I put up with. You don't have to put up with this shit. If you're not a junkie like I was, you're a comic, like Jim Florentine, or you're a decent fucking person and nobody's gonna give you shit and you have to stick up for yourself. Ralphie, this is why I do this podcast. Not because I'm better than you or any of that shit, because you can learn from me. You can learn from my fucking mistakes. And one of the biggest mistakes I made was not mourning my mom right. It turned me into a fucking junkie. And it took the grace of God for me to understand mourning. And that's what made this process a lot easier. When Mike called me and he said, we're starting this up October 1st, I had already written out my mourning. Was I prepared? I wasn't prepared. But eternally, I was getting there. I was working towards it. And here we are today. We're at like 87% right now. I'm at like 87%. If I tell you something, I don't want you to get excited about it. I'm excited about it. I actually got excited last night about doing stand-up this weekend. So don't believe Joe Diaz. He doesn't know if he's going to fucking retire. What are you listening to that fucking idiot for? What are you listening to me for? It's the truth. Nobody knows what the fuck's going to go on right now. As of last Sunday, I felt so shitty, or Monday, or even last week, because I haven't been on stage, guys. That's why I feel shitty. I figured it out. I have not been on stage since January 4th. So this weekend, last night, I was making some tea, and I'm like, I'm pretty fucking excited. I get to try out one new joke. I got one joke I got confidence on. So if you're expecting a bunch of new jokes, don't come on Friday, because I got one new bit I got confidence in. All the other stuff I've written, I don't have the confidence Relief Band or Alpha Brain has. You know what I'm saying? On it. I don't have that type of confidence to tell you. You could get your money back, because I don't know. But we're going to try our best. I'll tell a couple stories. We'll tell a Ralphie May story or something, and we'll pull it through. But I am excited this weekend about doing stand-up. That makes me fucking excited, that I'm excited about doing stand-up. I'm sorry about my cousin, the snot that came out last week. You know, and I felt him there for a minute. But I didn't want to dig in front of you, because then you're like, Joy was digging for fucking snots on the podcast. What type of fucking American is he?
Then you have to eat it.
And then I had to eat it. Yeah, because I'm not letting that go. Sometimes I'll just put it under the table like a piece of gum and save it for later. But then the snot gets too hard, and you got to, chump into it a little bit. And I got new teeth. I don't want no problems. You know what I'm saying? I want to save my teeth. I don't want to have to go back to fucking L.A. and see the fucking dentist again. But with that in mind, listen, man, I'm sorry about any of the losses in your life, and the bottle and drugs is not the fucking answer to mourning. It's a paper, it's a pen, it's devotion, it's going back to square one, what that person wanted for you. Your father wants something special for you. Your mother wants something special for you. Your sister saw you dance one day by yourself in the shower, and she thinks you're a great dancer. You should be a dancer. You're like, nah. You know what I'm saying? So when somebody dies, those are the questions you have to ask yourself. What would they say to me in the casket? What would they thank me for? And what is the person they would want me to become? Like, I'm not saying change. I'm saying to tighten one of your angles. Something that you're doing isn't tight, just tighten it up a little bit. Joey, you're cursing too much. Joey, you're doing this, And that's what it is. Just try to become what that person thought you could be. I never thought I would end up here, but my mother thought I could. I never thought I could grow up to be a fucking man. I was a fucking punk little fag, but I grew up to be a man. So if somebody believes it, there's a reason. Follow it and become that person for them, and the mourning process will be tip-top magoo. I cried because of Ralphie, because I haven't mourned Ralphie. But I could talk about my mother all day long, and I won't fucking cry or get upset. I could talk all day long about Anthony Balzano and not cry and get upset. I could talk about Dominic Special. I could talk about a lot of people that I've lost and not get upset. Ralphie and Brody are still 4 years. Brody's probably 2 years, right? Brody's probably 2 years, yeah. And I'm not even, it'll be like maybe 10 years for me to mourn those guys. This was an easy mourn. The LA mourn, it got easier when I saw the smile on my daughter's face. When I saw my daughter saying, this has been the best day of my life. I got White Castle today. Okay, if White Castle makes you better, and if that's the best day of your life, fuck it. LA is dead. And that's it for the podcast. I got no dates. All I have is February 19th and 20th this week at Vinny's, which is sold out. The 24th at Vinny's, which is next Wednesday. And then all the Wednesdays at Vinny's in March. And then we'll decide from there what we're going to fucking do. But from the excitement I had last night about getting on stage Friday, who the fuck knows? Who the fuck knows? Listen, guys, I love you guys. I want to thank all our sponsors for the week, but most importantly, I want to thank you guys for having my back every week, for watching. We keep growing. We're getting better every week, and we're getting stronger, and it's because of you. Thank you very much. Thank you for putting up with the snot and not reporting me to the authorities. Thank you for not spreading false rumors that Joey's back on coke. Just thank you. Thank you for being you guys. I love you guys. Patreon, $3, $5, and $10. And I'm around. It's Twitter, Facebook, you know I'm around. Mad Flavor. Stay black. I love you motherfuckers. Have a great weekend. All right, I want to thank you savages on a beautiful Wednesday morning for checking in and enjoying the podcast. It wasn't the podcast you really wanted to hear today. It was a tough one on me too, but that's what life is all about, is dealing with things. Before we leave, listen, I got to talk to you about something. A lot of people going through a lot of things, stress, things are going on. You lose your focus. If you want your focus back, it starts with Alpha Brain. I love Alpha Brain. Memory and focus, back. Couple days, you have some colored dreams. You do a cycle and you just try it one time. You're going to be hooked like I am. And if you don't like pills, they got the powder. And it's delicious. You just open it up. I think it has 3 different flavors. Tremendous. You got the protein puffs. You got the melatonin spray. They got a peanut butter chocolate protein bar, 7 grams of protein, just like an egg. Tremendous. What do you think I eat at night when I'm sitting there and I want a snack? That's exactly what I eat. A little protein bar, peanut butter cup. Go to ONNIT.com right now. Unbelievable. 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 If you don't like Alpha Brain, they're not only gonna not send you your money back. You're gonna get your money back, but you could keep the product. Again, like Relief Band, when you do a statement like that, you're telling me you believe in your product 150%. That's why I trust ONNIT. That's why I go with the Shroom Tech Immune and the Shroom Tech Sport and the Protein Puffs. And go to ONNIT.com right now. Press in church and get 10% off delivered right to your crib. ONNIT, the smarter way to go. The joint is also brought to you by Relief Band. Like I told you in the beginning, a third of Americans suffer from nausea. A third of Americans suffer from nausea. They don't know what to do. I'm not really that type. I only get nauseated when I see a couple things. But I'll tell you what, that's why I'm excited about my new partner, Relief Band. Relief Band is the #1 FDA-cleared anti-nausea wristband that has been clinically proven to relieve and prevent nausea and vomiting. The product is 100% drug-free. It doesn't make you drowsy and has zero side effects. This is the kind of stuff, this band, you can only get at a hospital patient. But now it's available to everybody. That means you. And how it works is this. Let me tell you something. You don't even need to be clinically proven. It got proven by me. Like I told you in the beginning, I went to PT. One day I forgot to put it on. I figured I don't need it today. On the way back, sure enough, I puked off, and I puked twice that day. So I don't like puking. You don't like puking. Nobody likes nausea. It helps with recuperation. It helps with seasickness. It helps with everything. This is an amazing band. It blocks the signal from your brain, sending it to your stomach, telling you that you're sick. That's science! Like my man Thomas Dolby was telling you in 1980. Anyway, Relief Band is the only over-the-counter wearable band that has been used in hospitals and oncology clinics to treat nausea and vomiting. Like I told you guys, this works. How do I know? Because I just had surgery and I haven't taken it off in 5 weeks. It's going to be 6 weeks on Friday, my birthday also. So anyway, ensure nausea never is the reason to miss out on life's important moments. Right now, Relief Band has an exclusive offer just for Uncle Joey's Joint listeners. You ready? You go to reliefband.com, use promo code Joey, and you'll receive 20% off plus free shipping.
and no questions asked. 30-day money-back guarantee. So head over to Relief Band, ReliefBand.com, and use promo code Joey for 20% off and get some relief, all right? I want to thank you guys. I want to thank Relief Band, and I want to thank ONNIT. I want to thank DraftKings. I want to thank CBD Lion. I want to thank Stamps. Anybody who sponsors us, we love you. We got your back. Thank you for having our back. And you guys at home, we love you. Listen, have a great week. I love you guys. Thank you for all the birthday wishes. And I'll see you guys Monday morning. Tip-top Magoo, ready to fucking go. I love you, cocksuckers.